All right, all right. Welcome back to another Tenement TV. I am Zach. We are here with Sal and a special guest, King Apollo, here. If you've been tuning in, joining in to our weekly spaces that we've been co-hosting with Wolf Sports, you should already be familiar with who King Apollo is by now. This man talks about all sorts of sports, heavily involved with karate combat and um, doing a little bit of live streaming too on football, Monday Night Football, as well as some of the other primetime matchups. So, Sal and King Apollo, how are we doing, guys?
Hey man, good to be back on Tenement TV. I missed last week, but I heard you guys had a incredible conversation last week, so it's good to be back. It's good to have King Apollo here. I'm really looking forward to this one, man. UFC, NFL, the whole works. This is what Tenement TV is all about, man. Picks, predictions, and more, right?
100%, man. I'm doing great. Appreciate you guys having me on. It's my first time on Tenement TV, so beautiful little debut here. I've been loving the app, been using the app. I got quite a few points myself. I'm looking forward to putting in some picks and talking about some stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what we've been waiting for. We've been talking about for months over the course of the summer that hey, we can't wait for football. We can't wait to get into the real heavy hitting sports season, and we're here. We got college football going on. Um, Loaded slates on college football. This week is a little bit of a weaker slate for matchups, so we had some wild outcomes last week, and NFL Week 1 definitely didn't disappoint, and there is no shortage of storylines going into Week 2 as well. On top of the one of a kind event that we have, very unique matchups event going on at the Sphere with UFC 306, so something that I know I'm very excited to see, at least from a visual perspective, on top of just the matchups themselves. But what we'll start out with here, we'll get into NFL Week 2. Not a lot. I mean, you look through the matchups and you look at the spreads, and not a lot right now that's separating a lot of these teams, which I think speaks to the parity of the league and just the uncertainty surrounding a lot of the teams themselves. So, Sal, I'll start with you. Is there any matchups in particular that you are looking forward to in Week 2, or was there anything from Week 1 that kind of like really caught you off guard or surprised you?
Man, I have to say I got real lucky with my fantasy team last week. I was looking around the league, man. There's so many disappointing performances across the board, man. Just like not what we predicted at all. But man, that's just like man, teams getting into it. No, most of these guys not doing anything in the preseason, not getting snaps in. A lot of rust they got to shake off. But I'm expecting a way better week here this week. In terms of matchups that I'm really looking forward to, honestly, like tonight's matchup, the Buffalo Bills at Miami. Really looking forward to this one. I haven't checked if our guy A Chain is playing today. I know that Raheem Mostert is out, but man, this matchup I think is going to be exciting. Other than that, like you know, the Monday night matchup I think is the other one that I'm looking at. The two premier matchups here. But I'm excited to. I was out of country last week, and I didn't have access to Red Zone, and so it's a painful experience watching the NFL Network on my hotel TV, as opposed to Red Zone, man.
What do you think, King Apollo? Where do you stand on what we saw last week? I know that you were maybe a little bit disappointed in your own team, but at least Hey, look, I won't say the football was the greatest the week 1, but as Sal said, that's the preseason. Teams are more and more, they're utilizing it to kind of finalize the back end of the roster. The starters aren't playing, nor do I think they should be. And these first couple of weeks, this is essentially the preseason. And I don't know, that's okay. I'm okay with that. King Apollo, any like general takeaways that you had from week 1 or heading into week 2 that you're specifically keeping your eye on?
So as far as week one, yes, my team really did a bad job. We didn't score a touchdown, only field goals. So for all my Giants fans out there, I feel the pain with you. I've been here these last few years. It's really hard, guys. We just got to get rid of Daniel Jones. Um, Other than that, I mean, like you said, it's very early in the season. Week one usually isn't a really good telltale sign of how the rest of the season is going to go. I think usually around week four, we kind of know exactly the sort of the temperature of the league, right? Kind of in the range of where things are going, who's kind of going to be a playoff contender, who's not. I totally agree with the preseason thing as well, too. Like we should not be starting players. It's a lot of people who get injured in the preseason on those first few games. A lot of the times that really can set your season back. Sometimes people are playing catch up at the end of the season. As being a Giants fan, I know all about that because we're always like a wild card. We're always trying to play catch up at the end of the season. It's usually because we get a lot of injuries in the beginning of the season. So the transition to them actually using more of the back end guys, people trying to make the team, walk-ons, is utterly important to. But it is also a catch-22 in the sense of these guys are rusty. They're not as those joints ain't moving as they're not warmed up, right? So it leads into lack of performance in those first few weeks of getting used to each other and getting in sync. And then also, like it leads to a little bit like it's lackluster a little bit last week as far as like I just feel like it was a few people who kind of took off and did really good jobs and like we wanted to watch those, but a lot of it's everybody getting to know each other, feel each other. Like it's a lot of teams who didn't do like good at all, and we felt like they were going to do great. And then you got teams like the Patriots who nobody thought was going to do anything, and they killed it, right? But yeah, so week one's a little weird. I know we're going to be a little weird for this next few weeks. It's week two matchups. Not really excited about our matchup. It's the Giants versus Commanders. That's poop versus poop. Literally the bottom of the barrel of the division. So I'm not excited about that at all, but I will watch it because I'm a Giants fan. Really excited to see the 49ers and the Vikings play. The Vikings did a really good job offensively. Quarterback was on point. He had a lot of great passes. He was very accurate. I'm pretty sure he ended at like 80 something in the high 80s. He was like 14 for 14 at one point on us. So I really want to see what he can do against the powerhouse of 49ers. I feel like the 49ers are like a star quarterback away from being a dynasty. I feel like Brock Purdy gets a lot of leeway with the amount of talent he has on his team. Not saying he's not a great player. He's a great player. But, I mean, if you place a Tom Brady on that team in his prime, they go 5 straight, right? So excited to see that matchup. It's going to be a really good one. Both of them teams are undefeated right now. So somebody's got to come out with an L. Another matchup that I'm really excited about is the Eagles and the Falcons matchup. I feel like the Falcons are one of those teams that couldn't get it together that first week. I think we all anticipated them to be a lot better than what they were and what they showed. And I feel like this is their chance to come back. They're going against a tough team. The Eagles are tough. Unfortunately, they have Saquon Barkley now. I had to take a moment of silence for that one. But they have Saquon Barkley now, which added to their already powerful offense. A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts. You got Goddard. They had a bunch of great offensive players and a great defense too as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how that matchup ends. Honestly, I'm taking the Falcons in this one. I think the Falcons might be able to bounce back and get this one. So that's another exciting one I want to see. And yeah, I think that for real, that's about it right now for week two that I'm really excited to see.
Well, and I think you make a good point. Getting back to kind of some of the preseason thing is that one thing that I notice is that it seems that these quarterbacks are constantly under pressure, almost all of them. And I think a lot of that has to do with, as they always say, the offensive line, it's all about chemistry and about knowing, these guys have to kind of know how to work together and how to kind of compensate for somebody else who might be getting an extra rusher, knowing who to pick up, knowing what the protections are. And a lot of that stuff you can't, now that especially even with training camp time is shortened, they're spending even less time in training camp, and now they're spending less time on the field by not being out there in the preseason. They're kind of learning these protections and adjustments out there on the fly. And you even see teams, the Chiefs every year are notorious for this. I know the Patriots did it often. Even with when Brady was there, is like they're tinkering with who's at what position out there on the offensive line. They're moving the guard to tackle, they're moving the tackle to guard, they're shuffling guys around. And I think about what happened with the Rams on Sunday night, right, where they already have injuries on the offensive line, which I don't even know how that happened, but they got injuries, and then they had more injuries during the game. And Matt Stafford, I mean, he didn't have any time to throw at all, but that's where I think you start to see the really, really top end elite coaches. They know how to kind of make that adjustment where they just said, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to snap the ball and we're going to throw it immediately. Matt Stafford's going to snap it, and he's going to throw it to his first read right away, which for the most part is just Cooper Kupp. It's just snap it and throw it to Cooper Kupp right away. And that's how we're going to offset Aiden Hutchinson terrorizing us all night. Like, that's how we're going to keep Matt Stafford from getting killed by Aiden Hutchinson. So, you know, some other coaches you see who maybe aren't quite as capable of making those type of adjustments. And then that's even compounded when you have guys like Kirk Cousins, who's in a new team with a new head coach who's there for his first year. You know, and now we start to see, I know that they kind of got killed for it in the offseason. You know, everybody's wondering why would they get Kirk Cousins and draft Michael Penix Jr.? And it's like, okay, well, maybe now we see why, because Kirk didn't look great coming off of the Achilles injury. And, you know, you just kind of start to see, like you said, those deficiencies, those leaks really come under the spotlight in the early stages, and then it really becomes a more of, hey, can you adjust, can you fix it or not? You know, is this a problem that's fixable or not? And that's honestly what I'm worried about with the Rams, is that I don't know that those offensive line problems are fixable. They were for one night, but moving forward, I don't know that that's going to get fixed, but we will see. As for tonight, we have Bills and Dolphins. Right now, I'm showing the Dolphins are 2.5 point favorite at home against the Bills. Total 48. It stands at 48 right now. Sal, did you have any thoughts on the game specifically tonight? I know you had already mentioned that Raheem Mostert's out. I believe it appears that A-Chain's going to play. They also are probably going to have Jeff Wilson Jr. involved to some extent. And they had a rookie running back that he didn't even play at all. I don't even think he was active last week. That maybe not. He might be in the mix for tonight. So any strong leans on the Bills Dolphins tonight?
Look, I'm actually going with the dog here. I think the Bills are going to win. Stumbled upon some pretty jarring stats earlier today. Josh Allen has never lost a Thursday night game, first of all.
I had that too. Yeah, 6-0. Yep.
Yeah.
6-0. And honestly, if you want to take the safe route, since 2022 in regular season games, you could take that 6.5 spread or whatever, because the Bills have never lost by 6.5 points or more in the regular season dating back to 2022. So, you know, I know the line's sitting at like 3.5 or 2.5 right now.
2.5.
Yeah. So, man, like, one, I think the Bills are going to win, but I think there's, you know, a nice little spread opportunity there too if you want to take the safe route. I think that, I don't know. I think we're going to see like a big game from Josh Allen again. You know what I mean? Like, I just, you know, I feel like that's what we're going to see here today. I'm excited about this game. I do think it's going to be high scoring. I know a lot of people are leaning towards the under. I'm kind of like just slightly over. But man, it should be exciting. And I'm glad A-Chain is playing. I feel like that makes the matchup that much more interesting. Well, hopefully playing. I know he's still a game time decision. Another Tyreek Hill big game as well. So what do you guys think?
What do you think, King Apollo? What do you think?
I agree a lot. I think when me and my brother were first talking about this, because it's crazy how our family's structured. I have two brothers. Two of us are Giants fans. Three of them are New England fans, and that's just the brothers. My uncle's a Miami fan, and my dad is a Patriot. I mean, my dad's a Pittsburgh fan. So it's all over the place. So we have these conversations about all of these teams, and we were talking about it, and I was asking who was at home. Because usually Buffalo cooks Miami when they're home, right? And when I seen it wearing at home, I was like, damn, I was kind of looking at like, do I want to take this play or not? And I ran across the same stat that you guys ran across, right? Josh Allen hasn't won. I'm really big and superstitious when it comes to betting on stuff like that. So I honestly do feel like Josh Allen's gonna have a big game. I feel like people are counting him out a little bit. I kind of call this like the Tim Tebow effect, when you set the bar so high for yourself that as soon as you hit anything close to under the bar, people are like, you automatically just suck. And I feel like that's kind of like what they're trying to do with Josh Allen at this point, because he's just not that explosive as he was a few years back. I'm definitely going to take Josh Allen on this one. I think on the road he's going to get it done. Tua, I'm not too sold on Tua, man. My uncle's, like I said, my uncle's a Miami fan. I hear the Tua stuff all the time. I'm not sold yet. I needed like a strong, consistent year and a strong playoff run from him. I haven't seen that yet, so the dog in him hasn't been established in my mind. But I do see Tyreek Hill having another big game. I think he's really being fueled by this whole police situation. I mean, he jumped in there and dropped 80. He's really adamant. The dude tried to call him. He's like, nah, I want you fired. Like, so he's on a rant right now. We know when Tyreek, it's another thing, superstitions, right? When Tyreek starts getting in his bag, right? He gets in his bag on the field and then he puts up big yards. He has huge games after things like this happen. He's kind of like a musician. When the musicians go through something in real life and then they go make a hit record, that's like Tyreek Hill when it comes to football. So I see a big game from him, but honestly, in the end, I think it's going to be a close game. We're going to come down to a fourth quarter, last drive game. Josh Allen is going to get it done. He has a lot of good weapons that he can utilize and use throughout the game. And he's smart. His IQ is really high. He's worked with a lot of great coaches along the years. He had Dable, my coach, for a while. So I really see him growing in this year. Honestly, to me, I think just all around the board, he's better than Tua. That's just my opinion. I might be a hater because my uncle's a Miami fan. I got to hear this crap all the time, but it is what it is. But for tonight, yeah, I'm definitely taking the Bills for this matchup, and I agree with that. I don't feel like if it's a 6-point spread, I would definitely take it because I don't think they'll get beat by more than 6. I think it's going to be a field goal game, to be honest.
Well, I was going to say, because you referenced, Josh Allen kind of gets a little heat, I guess, for not coming through in big moments. But the way I see it, there's only one problem that Josh Allen really has had, and it's that he keeps running into Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Yeah. I mean, like, look, I'm not going to act like Josh Allen is perfect. He certainly is turnover prone. He makes a couple of careless, reckless turnovers from time to time. He does get very loose with the ball, whether as a runner or as a passer. But at the end of the day, I mean, this man is, from an output and production standpoint, I mean, there aren't many people doing as much as he does as far as overall like contributions to the team, to the offense, usage rate, to use a basketball term. This man is out there doing it all. And one other stat that I did want to add is that, so right now I'm looking at his passing total for tonight, which is sitting at 243.5. So in his last 5, we reference how they have not lost on Thursday Night Football with Josh Allen. These are the last passing yardage totals that he's had on Thursday Night Football: 359, 320, 352, 304, and 400. So he has not thrown under 300 yards on Thursday Night Football. And his passing yard total tonight is 243.5. So something to keep in mind. I know we're early in the season. I know that he's got some new targets out there. Full disclosure, I took the under on this game. When it opened, I took under 50 on Sunday night. It's come down to 48. It looks like it'll probably ride back up a little bit. I imagine it'll get to 48.5, maybe flirt with 40. I don't know, because people like betting the overs on primetime games in particular. But just something to keep in mind. Josh Allen is out there, that's 60 yards lower than his lowest game that he's ever had on Thursday Night Football.
It sounds like you're cooking up a nice parlay over there, man.
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm hearing.
So I'm going to add Sam up here into the stage. And
What's up,
Sam
brother?
from Wolf Sports. So I didn't know if you had any thoughts on this game tonight.
The Dolphins-Bills game, right?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I think if Josh Allen can limit his turnovers, I mean, I think it comes down to when he doesn't turn the ball over, he's like what top 3 in the NFL, like
Yeah.
quarterbacks wise. But then sometimes it's like he's like bottom 10. So it's like I think it all comes down to him. I think the Dolphins are going to be the Dolphins. They're going to score. They're going to play good. Tua doesn't usually play very bad. But yeah, I think it's going to come down to Josh Allen.
Yeah, non-concussed Tua usually
Yeah.
has been pretty good. The difference being is once he
Yeah.
sustains his first, second, or third concussion of the season is when we
Then he
start to
starts-
see the results taper off a little bit. Yeah. So,
Knocking a few points off that football IQ.
right. I will say, I mean, one other note, it's like as far as the coaching matchup, I definitely like Mike McDaniel. More so than Sean McDermott. I don't know what it is with McDermott. I don't mean to paint with a broad brush, but it's like defensive coaches just in general. I have a hard time trusting them when it comes down to crunch time because they just time and time again, we've kind of seen that they tend to be a little bit too conservative as it pertains to maybe going for it on fourth down or kicking a field goal versus going for it, punting, they're not as maybe analytically driven as some of the offensive minded guys are. And I think that ends up hurting them. The Bills were great when Daboll was there. And I don't know. Josh Allen has been fine, but the offense has certainly looked different since he's since he's moved on. So one other thing that I'll ask now that you are here, Sam.
Oh boy.
How did you feel about your Bears in week 1? And how do you feel about them going down to Houston
I think they're going to beat Houston. I think they're going to beat Houston.
Okay.
I think don't get me started. King of Hollow and the Giants. No.
We suck. I'm okay with that. I've come to terms.
Okay. On the bright news, we did beat the Titans, even though our quarterback did not play good. So, and really, most of our offense didn't really play good. So we did beat the Titans. Our defense played good. I mean, geez, can we throw over 100 passing yards? Like, I mean, can we throw the ball? Like, I can't even like. I don't know. I don't know really what the problem was. I know he overthrew a lot of guys, so maybe that was like first game jitters. But no, I think we're gonna beat Houston. At least that's what I'm thinking. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, they played okay. I wouldn't say they played very good.
Look, I'll say this. It looked like first game jitters. It really did. Do I agree that you guys are going to be Houston? No, I don't. But it did look like first game jitters. I do think that he's going to have a way better game this week. But yeah, it did look like first game jitters. And just before I pass this on, shout out to Deep Lane in the chat. He had the Dolphins over and Dolphins winning. So little counter there, but man, that's a Tenement August champ. So who knows? Maybe he's onto something.
Yeah, we will see. We will definitely see. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, I know, at least from some of the Bears fans I talk to, is they get infuriated with what they say has been the past 10 years of just nothing but screen passes.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yep.
Sounds
about right.
I said that in Caleb Williams Pro Day, they said, hey, throw us 15 screen passes and that's all we need to see. But, it's like they have like,
it's not even like we don't have receivers. It's not even like we have like a running back. It's not like no, we have weapons. Like, why are we not throwing it? Doesn't make sense.
It's like the Bears is like an 8-year-old playing Madden, just picking the same play over and over again.
Dude, it's like 8th grade recess. We can't really throw the ball down the field, so we just dump it off to the kid next to us.
And I'll say, it's not like, I mean, look, it didn't look great from Caleb. It also it wasn't a disaster. And to be honest, he didn't even play worst quarterback on that field that day. You know,
No.
that award goes to Will Levis for
Who's terrible.
Sunday. Yeah. So,
It's terrible.
you know, they always say it's a steep learning curve, especially for rookie quarterbacks. We knew that with him, it was going to be a matter of, hey, is he going to try to do his improvisational play? Is he going to try to do that? You know, because it works against Fresno State. It doesn't work against the Tennessee Titans. It doesn't work against other teams in this league. So, you know, you have to kind of be a little bit more on schedule. You can't necessarily play with the same level of reckless abandon that we've seen from him over the course of his college career. But, you know, he'll learn from that. And, you know, at the end of the day, you got the dub, you move on. You feel a lot better about things when you get in the left-hand column than in the right side column. You know,
if we would have lost and he would have thrown a pick, right, then I would have been like, geez, like, I don't know. But yeah. And I don't think Houston like blew me out of the water. Like they were like a sensational team. Like if we were going into like Philly or like San Francisco or Detroit, like I would 100% say we were losing. Like it's not like, I don't even think Houston's the best team in their division. So it's like, I don't.
Who would you pick as the best team in the AFC?
Jacksonville. Okay. Jacksonville should have won that game against the Dolphins. They fumbled in the end zone. Yeah. Like what? Like they're terrible. Like I don't know. And maybe that'll come back to bite Jacksonville. Like they could have like 7 games like that this year and still go like 9-7. But no, I think Jacksonville's the best team in that division. So I don't know. I'm not that worried. What about the Colts? Who do the Colts play this weekend?
They play at Green Bay with Malik Willis starting at quarterback, which right now the Colts are a 3-point favorite. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's tough to know what to make of the Colts right now. I mean, look, everybody knows the highlight plays from Anthony Richardson are amazing. Everybody's seen 100 times, you know, that pass that he had. But the downside to that is it was only 1 out of 9 passes that he completed for the entire game. So that's not going to get it done. I don't know. The defense, we knew the secondary was going to be a critical problem. That certainly that was not only proven to be correct, they also lost cornerback Juju Brents for the season. So a problem that was bad is about to get even worse. So I don't know. I'll be honest. I would probably lean towards taking the Packers just because as a home dog, getting 3 points.
Oh my God. I was going to say, I think that's a steal at 3 points. That's what I'm betting in the TENAMINT app. I don't know about you guys, but I'm taking the Colts.
Yeah, I'm taking the Colts too, man. Jordan Love's out. I don't, like we said,
you're not even,
the beginning of the season, right? We're still in the getting to know each other phase, right? And then you throw in the guy who's not supposed to start to go up against incoming away team who actually has some type of momentum. I loved Anthony Richardson. He had that 1 interception, but to me, he played a great game. He's young. He's got a lot of potential. And I feel like you guys are gonna do great, bro. Like I don't see you guys losing this one, you know. And I got a lot of family in Indiana. My little sister lives there. I got a lot of Colts fans, Notre Dame fans in my family. So trust, I hear a lot about this. But
tough weekend.
Yeah. I mean, but look at it like this. This is a good thing for both sides, for the Colts and the Packers, because somebody leaves with a win. Somebody leaves with a 1-1 record. Yeah. Somebody leaves 0-2, but somebody leaves with a win here. And I think the Colts are going to be able to get that one, bro. Even looking at matchup predictor right now, ESPN, you guys are 54.4 to 45.3. I mean, really close, but to be honest, you're still up, right? And I feel like once we get into the game, we'll kind of figure things out a little more. But yeah, man, I think you guys win this one. If I were betting on this game or throwing it in my parlay, I would definitely take you guys. Especially if there was points on the board for sure, 100%. Yeah, the spread's like 2.5, so I would take that all day in America.
I just get nervous as a road dog, which, you know, speaking of, we have Sal's Steelers are also a road dog.
I feel like I was just going to ask Sal because I feel like none of our teams are very like, you know, like. None of them really played very well. I don't know about the Steelers. I mean, TJ Watt. I mean, my
Well,
God.
unless you're a Chiefs fan, I feel like that's just everyone. Like you
Yeah.
could, anyone looking at
Could
their
be.
team, it's like, man, our team is not great right now.
100%.
I
This
don't
is
know.
why.
It's like, how do you think the Browns are feeling about their season right now? You know, the Jets, even Jets fans who were all on cloud nine, you know, everybody was so hyped up for this season. It took one game for them to be like, man,
Oh,
we're still the
well,
Jets.
I
they
don't
did
feel
play
like
the 49ers. Like, I don't know why
Yeah.
everyone's overacting. Like, were people actually thinking they were going to go in and beat San Francisco? Like, I don't know.
I mean,
Like-
I had thought that I had it like I had a like, okay, it's possible that they could beat them. This is AR going up against, San Francisco powerhouse team. But at the end of the day, to me, what I saw was AR being rusty after almost 2.5 years not playing. I mean, a year and almost 2 years without playing. He took an off season, got injured, took another season off and an off season. So we're almost talking 2 years of not playing with the team, not in sync, new guys on the field. Like, it's the first game. Like, Jets fans, okay, they're dramatic because their team's cursed. Like, duh, you're not winning a championship, but at least you might have a great season, right?
Exactly.
I don't feel like it's
think
over.
he played that bad. Like, Aaron, like for not playing for 2 years, Aaron Rodgers did not play that bad.
Yeah, 100%.
Sal, what did you see from the Jets? Are you optimistic moving forward? Or do you think that we will see more Jets like behavior coming from their end? Sal?
Who we talking about here?
Talking about the
Are you talking
Jets,
about-
seeing if
what are you talking
what do you think about the Jets moving forward? Outlook, season outlook.
Oh man, I don't know. I'm like, I don't think it's gonna be a good like Lazard looked good, Rodgers looked good on that first drive, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's some hopeful stuff there, but I'm not sold, man. And honestly, like,
Do you think they're making the playoffs?
who do they have this week? Who do they have this week?
The Jets
do I
are
think they're
a
making the
4-point
playoffs?
favorite at Tennessee.
Oh, they're beating Tennessee.
Yeah.
Tennessee's terrible.
Yeah, they're gonna beat Tennessee. They're gonna beat Tennessee. Do I think they're making the playoffs? No. I'm also like, man, Aaron Rodgers is old. Man, Achilles injuries, like, they have like a tendency to flare back up. You know what I mean? Especially as like, I'm just not sold, man. Too much can go wrong. You know what I mean?
So, do you think the Jets or the Steelers have a better chance of making the playoffs? That's a genuine question. Like,
Steelers.
I'm not sold on the Steelers either.
Dude, TJ Watt.
Chance?
Like,
Better
my
chance, I'll
God.
say. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy, man, crazy.
Who would you? And I know we already had this conversation once before the season, but now we've had one game under our belt. Who would you rather see under center between Justin Fields and Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh?
I'd rather not see Russell Wilson on the field, but that's a hot take for you. I'd rather not.
You know what? Speaking of Sal Steelers, I got so much hate for my post. It was like, Patrick Mahomes is the best player in football. The second best player in the football is TJ Watt. So many people were like, no, it's Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa, Micah Parsons are all better than TJ Watt. I was like, what?
I don't know if I would agree with that.
Yeah, I can't agree.
Yeah. And
Like I
people were
said,
saying,
I think that
people DM me and say Chris Jones was better than TJ Watt. I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think ever since we've seen
That's right.
Aaron Donald retire, that has really opened up that spot, right, for as who is the ultimate game wrecker on defense.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I think it almost has to be TJ based on, just some of the things that he does from a not only just like wreaking havoc on the quarterback, but also like that's a guy that's always a threat to score on defense. Like he is a threat for a house call all the time.
Well,
100%.
he would have had 2 fumbles or like forced fumbles, but one of them was called back because of a hold, I think. And one of the sacks he had was called back. He had like multiple things that were called back because of holds. So his stats would have looked even better.
Yeah. He's a different animal out there.
Yeah, no. I'll be honest, because I saw the post when you put it out there, and I thought long and hard about it, and it's like, man, I don't know that there is a definitive answer against this. Like there's not somebody that is immediately like, oh no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I think I would take him over Myles Garrett.
Would you take him over Trent Williams?
Probably not, just because I think that left tackle is the most important position outside of quarterback in the NFL.
You think it's more important than a pass rusher? Wow.
I don't know. I think it's close. The case that they're equal. You could make the case that they're equal, but depending on who my quarterback is, and if I don't have an overly mobile quarterback, if I have like a guy who maybe doesn't have the escapability or is maybe a little bit injury prone, I want him protected, and I don't. Right. And TJ Watt isn't protecting him. So
I'll ask both of you. So your teams now, you can't pick a quarterback. Who are you taking as the number one pick? Like you can add one player to your team. Who are you adding?
My team.
Either one of you.
From
no quarterbacks, but anybody. No, like in the NFL right now, you can add anybody on your team that's not a quarterback.
Will Aaron Donald come out of retirement? Because I still think I would take him.
This is a loaded and unfair question for me. Because my team needs a quarterback, but if I would choose anything outside of that, it would be the line. Our offensive line has been the worst, and the one thing that the Giants have not fixed since, I wouldn't say Eli's last 4 years, it's the line's been terrible. He got sacked so many times, so many interceptions come from him being pressured. So I would take a solid line. I would take somebody like you, the positions you guys were just talking about, either or, the best at either position that I feel like could work well and sink into another line easily. Because we had like 60 lineup changes last year on the offensive line. It was insane. Like it's just unheard of how many we go through. So, I mean, the first option I would take is quarterback, but since that's taken away from me, I would definitely take a line because, to be honest, that would help a lot more. Saquon was literally doing that with no line. Imagine if they had put a line behind him. Now you see what happens because he went to Philadelphia and they have a line, right? So I would definitely ask for an offensive lineman. I don't feel like we need receivers. Running backs, you could deal without them. You could do it without them. You don't really need them. I feel like you need receivers and tight ends more than you need a running back. And I feel like we're solid on those parts. But I would definitely take an offensive lineman out of anything. Defense, too. Our defense is straight. Secondary needs a little work, but they're all right.
What about you, Zach? And then I got to ask Sal, because I think Sal's would be funny. I don't know where.
So what we're talking about, Sal, here is most important position after quarterback. So we were talking about who's the best player in the league. Second non-quarterback, best player in the league. Sam had put out a post about TJ Watt, took a little heat for that. So we were kind of debating, somebody between TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, pass rusher, edge, Mike Parsons
if you could add
Trent Williams.
Yeah, I'm like Sal. If you could add one player to the Steelers that wasn't a quarterback, who would you add?
Ooh, that's a tough question, man.
Especially because everyone's
teams are different. Everyone's teams are different. Like most teams need a quarterback, but like outside of that,
yeah. If we weren't excluding quarterback, man, that would be my pick. To be honest, I'm not 100% sold on our options out here, but man, I think it'd be something to help out the offense, man. Like honestly, like I like man, TJ Watt is so impactful, man. I'm happy with the defense for the most part. I do think like offensively, like okay, I'll probably upgrade Najee Harris. Like I don't think that I like him to some extent. But I don't think I think the offense could benefit so much from a little bit of a better running back. I think it would help out everybody. It'd help out the receivers a ton. Just more options. And, maybe Justin Fields, maybe his like threat of running helps in the long run, but you need a running back. And I don't think Najee Harris is it. And it looked like he was going to be, early in his career, but like last year was pretty brutal, man.
I don't know what happened there because it seemed like the minute he took off the Alabama uniform, he just immediately
became a different person.
Yeah, he got way slower. And I mean,
less power.
like he looks like he's running with cinder blocks on his ankles. Like I just don't get it, and it's completely different from what we saw. But one guy that, speaking of Alabama, seeing what Jameson Williams did, I think was a glimpse into what he showed that he was capable of at Alabama. And, maybe some people, maybe didn't forget about him, but he hasn't produced mostly as a byproduct of being suspended. But, what he can do, kind of that game wrecking ability to kind of open up the back end of the defense is, I mean, that could really be quite an addition to the Lions. I know it's not a new player per se, but it certainly is a new element to their offense that they didn't have before that could really open things up for them because, as we saw in that overtime, they played bully ball. They know how to play playoff football, which is just beat the other team up physically, win in the trenches, don't make turnovers, and just beat the hell out of the other team. And that's what they do. And then if you add in the ability to kind of open up the top of the defense with a guy like Jameson Williams, I don't know, man. The Lions, I think, were a team that certainly impressed me in coming out of week 1.
100%.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Okay, well, before we move on, any other closing thoughts here as we make our way into week 2? We'll learn a lot more, but then as we know, we'll start looking at week 3 next week, and there will be a whole new set of questions that we have that that we didn't even.
It's kind of like if you cut off one head, 2 more come. Like every time,
100%.
Yeah. Every game that goes by, more questions pop up.
Right. And we've already started to see some major injuries that between the 49ers losing McCaffrey, the Rams losing Puka Nacua, the Packers losing Jordan Love. Yeah. As the injuries kind of start to roll in, another thing I think is going to be, there's no shortage of storylines, that's for sure. But Deshaun Watson looked absolutely horrendous in week 1. And
okay, that has to be one of my worst predictions because I think they're going to the Super Bowl. Now, I don't think it's over for them yet. Like, give Deshaun Watson 6 games. Week 6, if he's still playing terrible, I will admit I was wrong. But what happened? Like, where is the guy that was on Houston? Like, you can't completely vanish. Like, the guy is not even the same player. Like, he's not even near. He's not even the same person.
It's all that time, bro. All that time, all of these litigations, all of these lawyer talks, all of these court cases, all of this press, it starts to take a toll. Even Michael Vick, it took a toll on him a little bit. Like, he didn't come back the same person, right? And I feel like that's literally what one of the main issues is. On top of that, too, he could not be feeling himself. He could be falling off. A lot of guys peak in college. A lot of guys don't peak in the NFL. Like Tim Tebow was an amazing college player. It's crap when he got to the NFL. We all looked at him the same. So I feel like that could have a lot of the reason to do with why he hasn't been playing as well. I agree with you, too. We should give him a few weeks. I don't know about 6. He get 4 from me. I'm a little less lenient. I don't play with quarterbacks, bro. I don't care who is the captain on the team, on the offense. The quarterback's always the captain in my eyes. You think
by week 4 you would switch, bench him?
I wouldn't bench him, but I would definitely not be optimistic after week 4. No.
Jameis Winston is the backup.
Yeah. I wouldn't bench him.
But I don't know. I think you're onto something there. I think a lot of it has to do with the confidence. I think, quarterback is a position that, your confidence is very, very important to your overall success, on top of the physical ability. And he clearly just doesn't have it right now. And I think of all the things you mentioned, both, sitting out, not getting out there, all the off-field stuff that's going on, also being here in a new organization, trying to kind of put that behind him. And now we have new things surfacing, and it's the combination of all of it. And, they have plenty of weapons there. Stefanski is a pretty good offensive mind as far as a good offensive coach to have. And he's just, some of the passes are
I think he is
Really,
going to go
really
down.
bad.
I think he's going to go down as like the greatest what if in sports history. Like, what if he did not sit out in Houston and did not
Yeah.
do whatever
Yeah.
he did? Whatever he
I
did,
mean,
like if he
Next to
just kept
Ricky
playing,
Williams.
like
he
Ricky
was
Like-
unquestionably a top 5
Yeah.
quarterback when he was at
Oh.
the top of his powers in Houston, and he was there with
100%.
Bill O'Brien, and like
I think
before
I
everybody
think
just
2020 he led the league in yards and
Yeah.
PPR.
I mean, nobody would have even questioned him being a top 5 quarterback at the time when he was like at the top of his powers in Houston. And all of a sudden, it's like they all just vanished. Like everything's gone. His
Yeah.
confidence is shot. He's just throwing wild passes out of bounds. And I don't know. It's certainly something to keep an eye on because they gave up a whole lot to get him, and he's got a lot of guaranteed money still on the way.
Yeah. I keep seeing people like complain about that, but like, what else were the Browns supposed to do? Like, you're in a conference with Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, like all these guys. You have Baker Mayfield. You have a loaded roster. You're never going to win with Baker Mayfield. So why not just go out for the one quarterback on the market that can compete with everyone?
Yeah. It
Yeah.
just happens that as soon as they got him, this happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, you have to take the risk if you're Cleveland, but man, it's a compounding thing with it. Like you guys are saying, like it's all the personal issues, legal issues, confidence. Plus, didn't he injure his throwing
Yeah.
arm? He had surgery right last year,
Yep.
and like so now you have that combined with the confidence issues, and you're looking at your game tape every week, and you're like, man, I'm not the guy I used to be, and it just gets worse. So unless it gets better, it's gonna get worse, right? And it's gonna pile up, and you can't bench them. Like, you really can't. But
Yeah, because then it's over.
yeah.
Well, because
If you bench him, it's
even
over.
last year before he got hurt, like they came back and beat Baltimore, and he looked good.
Yeah, he
He
did.
looked like pretty good, and then he got hurt, and it's like, well, maybe that was
Awesome.
like your momentum, and then it just got killed.
And with that defense, and they still have Nick Chubb maybe getting healthy, and they have some good offensive weapons, and as we've said, even Myles Garrett, and they have a lot of strong guys on the defensive side of the ball. They don't even need him to be what he was before, that like game breaking, exceptional guy, both with his legs and his arm. Like they just kind of need him to just be okay. I mean, this team won games with Jacoby Brissett last year under center.
And
so,
Joe Flacco.
Yeah, Joe Flacco got them into the playoffs. So it's not like they need somebody who's going to be, world changing out there. They don't need Mahomes.
But does he know that? Does he know that he doesn't need to be the hero? Like, man, like I didn't watch the game last week. I was traveling. But what do you have? 2 interceptions. I mean, he got sacked 6 times. Didn't hit a single deep pass. Didn't connect on a single deep pass. Like, man, it's not looking good. I don't know, man. I don't know.
No,
Yeah, and that's where the as we were saying, kind of the mental side of things comes in, the confidence, where with each incompletion, with each interception, with each bad throw, that confidence just keeps going lower and lower. And now we have more off-field issues to kind of navigate through. So I don't know. It's definitely something to keep an eye on. We could talk for, I feel like, hours and hours on NFL football here, but
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, but we do have a big UFC 306 card that we still need to get to.
Yeah.
So what we can do is let's get the card up here. Not that
Oh,
one.
okay. This is beautiful.
We're gonna run through the main card, so let's get these prelims out of here. Here we go.
Are they even really prelims? I feel like it's just one big main card. Are
Yeah.
they considering them prelims?
I think it's a prelim.
Is it?
They say it's a prelim, but I think it's just running. I don't know. It's weird.
I think it's literally because I thought he said, I don't know. It's weird because I see him prelim and then I don't see prelim.
Well, either way, like I've said before, is that this is one that I'm certainly going to have I think it's a must see just from a presentation perspective and seeing the way how they've said that, the unique element of being in a venue like this that we haven't seen before. one thing Dana White, I think he said they're going to have some sort of like film playing in between each fight. I don't know if that's going to be shown to the viewers at home or if that's just something for the people inside, but
I would assume it's the people at home.
I would hope so, because that, honestly, hearing about it sounded really cool, you know, going into kind of some of the like Mexican history and you know, kind of the fighting spirit and the fighting tradition and things like that. You know, that was something that to me, it appealed to me, just kind of the whole presentation of it. But what we're going to do is we will run through the actual fights themselves. So we'll start kind of here at the bottom here and work our way up to the main event. Is we have Ode Osborne and Ronaldo Rodriguez. Right now, Osborne is the slight underdog. And that's one thing that looking through this card, there aren't really any heavy favorites on the board. Not necessarily any slam dunks, which, as we know, don't necessarily mean that it is a slam dunk, even if the odds are heavy tilted towards one guy or the other. So let's go around the horn here. We can start with King Apollo. What are your thoughts on Osborne Rodriguez?
Big fan of O'Day. I like O'Day Osborne. I've been watching him for a while. Like, he's one of the more talented guys in the UFC in that division. But he has a very tough opponent. Lazy Boy is no joke. I watched him in Mexico City. I went to that card. And he put on a great show. Did not disappoint at all, and I wasn't surprised at all when Dana added him to the UFC Noche card, because he's a performer. He's an entertainer. He's somebody who's great in the ring and out. I mean, in the octagon and outside of the octagon. But Ode Osborne is somebody who's also been around for a while. He's got a lot of experience, and he's been on a big stage before and kind of failed. And I was watching the UFC Embedded, I think it was yesterday, and he was talking about that. Like, yeah, I've had the chance before, and I kind of didn't fall through with coming through and completing the mission, and I got a different approach this time. One thing I would say is it's super tough to beat a Mexican at any Mexican events. I don't care if it's in Vegas or not. If it's based around Mexico, it's tough to beat those guys. Like I said, I went to the Mexico City card, and I think they won like 85% of the card, the Mexicans. So it's going to be a tough fight, but honestly, I want O'Day to win. My heart says O'Day, but I think Lazy Boy is going to win this one. He's coming over from Mexico. He's going to be doing it for Mexican people. It's a big day for them. And I think they're all going to be locked in. It's going to kind of be like when you got an OV in your last name and you fight in Dubai or Abu Dhabi. It's just about guarantee. So I'm going with Lazy Boy, Ronaldo Rodriguez on this one.
Well, Sal, I know that we have referenced on prior episodes the home octagon advantage. So where do you weigh in on that, as far as with the home octagon advantage here? And,
yeah, for sure. I'm in full agreement with King Apollo here, man. Is not the fights aren't taking place in Mexico, but this is Mexican Heritage Night. The whole thing is gonna have these guys amped up, man. Honestly, I'm leaning towards the Mexicans in pretty much across the whole card. I really do like Ronaldo Rodriguez here. I just like looking at form. He's on I don't know what his win streak's at. I know not all of them in the UFC, but he's got good form right now. Osborne's taken a couple of L's over the last 5. I think one win in his last 5 or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I see Rodriguez taking this. And I don't think it's going to decision. I think we're going to see something second, third round submission or something like that.
Yeah, Lazy Boy's on a 6-fight win streak. Ode Osborne has lost 3 out of his last 5.
There we go.
Yeah.
I agree with both of them, Zach. Like, right on.
All right. Well, so Sam, you can lead us off here with Zellhuber and Rybovic here. Where do you weigh in? No, we still have a little home advantage here with Zellhuber. So is there any way that you're leaning in particular here? And I will remind people, but as we're showing through here, get in there, get into the app, make your picks. This is straight from the Tenement app. We just got these matchups up, so we'll start to see some of the percentages run through, and I'll be certainly curious to see how the public weighs in here. So Sam, go ahead.
I think the biggest favorite is Zellhuber on this card. I think on the main event, I think he's minus like
230.
two something,
Yeah,
235.
minus 230. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it'll go any different. He's again a Mexican fighter fighting on Mexican Independence Day. He's a kind of a big favorite. I'd be shocked if he lost.
Yeah,
But
what stands out to me here is the reach advantage.
yeah,
8-inch reach advantage here, man. That's nothing to scoff at, man. Like ultimately, like I think that's gonna play a massive part here. I've got Zellhuber winning.
Yeah, I'm full agreement with all of them. Diesel has been on a tear. He's definitely on a win streak right now. I think he's only lost one in his last 5. That was on a Sandhagen card, which is a really tough fight for him too. He didn't get KO'd. He's not a chinny guy. He usually wins or loses by unanimous decision. So either he's all the way on or all the way off. I don't see him being off on this one. Also represent Mexico as well. Another one. Like we said, that home field advantage. On top of that, I think if he can stay on his feet really on this one and just kind of like keep him out of the void, that distance between him and his opponent, utilize that reach and the height advantage that he has on him. It's a little bit younger, 3 years younger. I mean, it's not a lot, but in UFC, 3 years of getting punched on is a lot to you. And I think if he avoids takedown, stay on his feet, be the better striker, he could definitely come away with a win here. I don't think Dana set Diesel up to take a L here. I think Dana and I can't think of his name right now. Freaking matchmaker Hunter. I don't see Dana and Hunter setting him up to take a L here on Mexican Independence Night. I think, not gonna say it's a layup, but they're more confident in him winning. I think that's why this matches was set up. But I don't count on Esteban at all. But I'm definitely taking Diesel for the money.
Okay, well, yeah, look, now we're starting to get some data in here. We're starting to see some of the picks come through. Next up, we have Ortega and Diego Lopez. And if I remember correctly, the last time that Diego Lopez was in the octagon, there was some weird thing.
He was supposed to fight Brian Ortega. And then Brian Ortega stepped out.
So yeah, and then he backed out, and somebody jumped in at the last minute, and it actually
someone jumped in.
So it was UFC 300. It was UFC 300. He was supposed to fight Brian Ortega. Dan Ige stepped in on like 4 hours notice. And what's crazier part is I was in Vegas, staying with my homie, who's Keith Berry, who trains at Extreme Couture, and literally they had just finished sparring with Dan like an hour before he got the call. And he took it.
I think there was a fighter between, because the Brian Ortega had a fever on like Thursday night.
Before that one, and that's the one. That's the big one that he has on his wall in his gym. Then
no. I was talking about Brian or someone filled in between Ortega and Dan Ige, and then they dropped out too, because Diego Lopez moved up to. He was supposed to fight at like 55, then he moved up to a catch weight, and then he moved up to like multiple times in that fight. But yeah, he fought good. I think he's going to beat Brian Ortega. Now, people were talking about how Brian Ortega is going to get submitted. That is zero chance of that happening. On my space, they were talking about that. But
I remember that. I think blasphemous. I have a bet. I have a going bet on that right now. I have a wager on that if Diego Lopez submits Brian Ortega, I'll make DDP my profile picture, which I hate.
Oh DDP, that is
That's how I know it's not going to happen. So I'm just going to go with my boy here and tell you Brian Ortega I'm not going to go with Sam. I'm actually going to go against Sam. Brian Ortega's winning this one. Another person I've seen in Mexico City fight. I'm going to tell you why. That guy's got dog in him, man. He's pure dog. And the thing is, what a lot of people don't see is he has something to prove to the Mexican fan base. I was in that Mexican arena in Mexico City, and when he walked out, but him being a Chicano versus a authentic born Mexican, they booed him like he was from Kazakhstan or something. So he has a lot of, I feel like, drive and determination to prove to the Mexican people, like, I don't care. You could put another Mexican in front of me or whoever in front of me, right? I'm going to come out the top Mexican, regardless if you like me or not. And I feel like on this day, right? On this day of Noche UFC, you're going against a Brazilian who they have taken in, right? Because a lot of Mexicans love Diego Lopez. He's honorary Mexican, like Marab and Sean O'Malley, right? But Brian Ortega rolled his ankle and still beat Yair. Brian Ortega has been through the fire. Brian Ortega has fought a lot of tough dudes. And
Brian Ortega almost beat Volkanovski.
this is what I'm saying. Like, these are the things people forget. So now I love Diego Lopez. Great up and coming talent. Not a fan of the hair, but he's a great guy. He's great on the ground. He's great on his feet. He's amazing. Has a lot of potential. But I think Brian Ortega is that guy that could really stop his shine. Brian Ortega has it. He has that dog in him. Like, we literally watched him roll his ankle before the fight, before round one, and still beat Yair. Yair, we're talking about. We're not talking like when I tell you I went to the stadium and I was asking predictions around the entire stadium. I didn't get one Brian Ortega, right? So nobody expected that man to win. And I feel like it's going to be the same thing here. And I feel like he's got another thing to prove. And Brian Ortega is going to pin on. He said he's going to get the dub over Diego Lopez. I'm sorry, the pretty boy's got to go down sometime. And I think it's today.
Sal, what do you think?
I wouldn't call Diego Lopez a pretty boy, but
No.
no, definitely not. Look, I'm a big Brian Ortega fan, man, and for all the same reasons, man. He really does have that dog in him. Not to say Diego Lopez doesn't either, but man, just the level of competition that they've fought. Diego Lopez has been through wars and looked good doing it, even if he hasn't got the victory. You know, I think this is gonna be an absolute brawl. We are in for a treat. And this is the fight I'm really looking forward to the most on the card. Like I
Really?
love the way
Me too.
the event's gonna shake up, but this fight is the one I'm really looking forward to, man. It's gonna be amazing.
100%.
Wait.
I agree.
Apollo, when do you leave for Singapore?
Saturday.
So you're gonna miss.
I'll be watching it in JFK Airport during my layover.
Oh, of course,
Hong
yeah.
Kong,
During I'm on the way to Hong Kong the whole time for this entire fight. So
that's you might still be able to watch it though. Sometimes you're able to kind of watch it in the sky. I've tried it a few times. It kind of works sometimes. Maybe international flight, you'll be better. I don't know.
no, I'm just, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna post that Wolf Sports and be like, hey guys, I need to hear what happened in like 3 words or less, and just see what people say.
Yeah, just get somebody to live tweet punch by punch, like
Yeah,
blow
that's
for
what I'm
blow, what's
thinking.
happening.
That's what I'm thinking.
Sean got KO'd, and that's all you're gonna get. I
Yep.
don't think that's happening. I'm not saying that's happening, but I do agree though. Diego Lopez does have a great. I'm looking at his record now because I was trying to think like who has he actually fought, but it definitely has a crazy background, man. That fight's gonna be my favorite to watch too. I agree with Sal. I feel like that's the dog fight of the night. It's gonna be some great. I think all of them are gonna be great fights, but the dog fight, the one you're gonna want to watch and be like that Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje 300 fight of the card is gonna be Diego Lopez versus Brian Ortega, 100%. I can guarantee it now.
Yeah, both these guys, man. When they get in the octagon, they go and get it. You know what I mean? Right away. Like they're not wasting time. They're not trying to like analyze the reach and you know they're going right to it right away. And man, it's gonna be fireworks. From the first round.
Yeah, and that's what you like to see. That's definitely what you like to see here. So, moving forward, as we have Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko. So, King Apollo, what do you think as far as any advantages here outside of the home octagon?
Can we just say Alexa Grasso is beautiful? I'm serious.
I'm sorry. I'm full in agreement that there are no good-looking UFC women champions, but hey, you can disagree if you want. That's what I was saying about Silva. I was saying that she wasn't going to win just because I don't think she's going to make it that far, but not to jump off subject too much. This fight, I feel like, is a disservice to the fans for this card. Just being honest, third time we're seeing this fight. Honestly, don't care to see it again. But if I were a betting man and betting on this fight, which I'm not, except for in the TENAMINT app, I would probably take Alexa Grasso on this one. I feel like they both fought each other. I feel like Alexa Grasso is the future. I feel like Shevchenko is kind of like the past. I feel like Alexa Grasso is going to hold this belt for a little while longer, and then one of the younger girls are going to come take it. Maybe Natalia Silva, one of the other ones. But yeah, I don't see Shevchenko beating Grasso on this one. Mexican Independence Day, Grasso's got the last dub. Grasso's grown a lot since then, trained with a lot more different people. She's very, very, very hard worker when it comes to it. Doesn't shy away from stuff, and she's Like the only thing I see that she has, I mean, well, she has better striking and better takedown average if you look at it on paper versus Grasso. But honestly, a lot of the times that's not the best telltale to what's going to happen in the actual ring. So, I mean, if I were to take on this one, I would definitely be taking Grasso, who is the favorite to win this one. Not by much. She's like a minus 140. I just feel like on Mexican Independence Day, co-main event, representing your country against a girl you've already beaten before. You kind of know you fought fighting for the third time. It's not like they don't know each other. I don't think as much either one of them can learn that could kind of make them an outlier in this match that the other one won't know. They both have extensive records, over 20 fights apiece, right? So yeah, man, definitely gonna take Grasso. I'm taking I don't think I didn't take any non-Mexicans on this card. I think I might be going straight Mexican. But yeah, man, I'm definitely gonna take Grasso on this one, man. Not too excited about seeing a fight, but I understand why it has to happen. She's the only Mexican champion, and it makes sense to put her on the card, but just not too excited about seeing it, to be honest.
Sal, what do you think?
Yeah, I got Grasso as well, man. I do think it's going to be a good fight, and I do think it's going to be a close fight. Like, it's not going to be a landslide in any direction. We saw that in previous matchups. Like, I think Grasso's going to win. I think it's probably going to decision. They know each other very, very well now. They know what to look out for. And honestly, man, like Shevchenko, like, what was it? It was the first fight where she threw that spinning leg kick, and that's what lost her the fight, right?
Yeah.
So she knows that, and she might have been up on the cards, up on scoring prior to that, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, she just got to avoid mistakes and that's it, right? But honestly, I do think Grasso's gonna win this.
Yeah. You said the decision, unanimous decision?
Yeah.
Unanimous or split?
Well, unanimous.
Unanimous. Okay. Yeah.
Sam, like full agreement around the horn here, or do you?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a very entertaining fight. I think Grasso's going to win. I think it'll probably go to decision. I'd be surprised if it was like a finish and it was kind of an entertaining fight, not in a bad way. But I think it's going to go to decision. I think Grasso's going to take it. I understand why they have to put this fight on the card, because like Merab and Sean really aren't Mexican. Like they are, but they aren't. So it's like you have to keep her on the card, or else it would just kind of be like kind of disrespectful. But yeah, no, I agree.
I mean, hot take on this is real quick is I feel like they shouldn't have did it at this time at the spear, to be honest. And it would have made.
Who do you think should have been the co-main event?
No, I just feel like the spear shouldn't have been UFC. The spear should have been UFC 300. Right, it makes more sense. Then you can stack the card out crazy, right? And then you take Mexican Independence Week and you do it in Mexico.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be.
I was kind of thinking this.
I'm not gonna lie, that kind of was.
Then you make.
I kept trying to figure out what was going on with that when it was like, they're doing the whole Mexican Independence thing, and I'm like, what am I missing here? I felt like
and then you make Alexa. You can make Alexa Grasso you can make her the main event, the main fighter of the night, and it doesn't not make sense of not pitting her at the top, right? Because it wouldn't have been an actual big pay-per-view or something they're looking to get a huge return on because they're investing so much money. So.
Man, it's such a the branding behind it and like the marketing behind it is so weird, because not only is it Mexican Independence Day night in Vegas, but it's also the way they say it. It's like Riyadh season, UFC no shares or whatever, right? Like, you're mentioning Saudi Arabia. It's a Mexican Independence Day fight card, and it's taking place in Vegas. Like, who's making these decisions and why? Like, you can't find another sponsor that's a little bit more like, make it the Modelo or something, like Modelo. Modelo season, man. Like the what's their tagline? Like, brewed with the fighting spirit or something like that. That would be cool, right? That would be on brand.
I think it was a miss.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, I think the sphere should have been something like maybe the end of the year. Like, do like the last fight of the year on the sphere, or like something like that. I like Sean and Merab at the Sphere. I think that's a good main event. But, yeah, I mean, Grasso probably should be the main event for Mexican Independence Day. and it definitely should be in Mexico City. Like, I feel like that's a big mess. I'm not. I mean, I'm guessing Vegas has a pretty good size like Mexican community, so
Yeah.
I guess that doesn't. I mean, at least you're not doing it in like New York, where it's like so. But yeah,
Well, speaking of the main event, we will move forward here as we have Sean O'Malley and Marab facing off here. So, Sal, I will start with you. Who do you favor here? We do not have any, as we've referenced multiple times, no home octagon advantage here, unless you wanted to count Sean O'Malley technically fighting on home turf, albeit on Mexican Independence Night, as we've referenced. So, for anybody that's confused, it's the Charlie Day meme, with connecting all the
Before-
dots and figuring out who has the advantages here. But go ahead, Sam.
I was gonna say before you ask Sal, who did you have winning in the Sean versus Aljo fight?
I had Sean,
Okay, I had to know some background, but continue.
and I got Sean again.
No,
and I think it's gonna come by knockout.
no, come on.
I actually really do, man. I think Sean's gonna put on a show, man, like he does. And like, not to say like Marab's not a threat. Obviously Marab's gonna try and take him down. He's a great striker as well, but he's not a Sean's a sniper, right? Like, he's a sniper. What's the reach difference there? Do we got it on the tail of the tape there?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got 72
Oh,
to
it's
68.
Yeah.
Four.
And Sean makes that reach advantage in every fight look even bigger than it is, right?
Yeah.
Like, his length, his technique, like, he makes that reach advantage, like, he makes it count. Like, there are a lot of fighters that have that reach advantage, and it makes no difference just because of how they strike. Sean knows what his advantage is, and he maximizes it every time he's out there. And I think he's gonna do it again. If I had to guess, I'm gonna say it's a 3rd round knockout.
Wow.
God. See,
Yeah, go
King
ahead.
of follow.
Bro.
Sam.
No, you go
Sam.
ahead.
Sam,
Yeah.
you're revving up. Go
Nobody
ahead,
wants
bro.
to follow.
Guys,
I can follow, but I want Sam to go. I wanna hear these.
Marab is winning this fight. I'm not saying it's going to be the most entertaining fight in the world. I don't think it will be, and I don't think it'll be a finish. It's going to go to decision. Marab is going to take him down 20 plus times. Sean will get up. They say Sean has such good jiu-jitsu. Okay, cool. Marab is going to take him down. He's going to walk around with him. He's going to slam him to the ground. Sean's going to get back up. It's going to happen again. It's going to be the same fight every single round. Like, it's going to be the same blueprint. He's going to take him down. I think Marab will get hit a couple times because I think Marab will probably stand with him or try to stand with him. But no, I think there's going to be 20 plus takedowns by Marab. I mean, he shot 50 takedowns against Jan. He carried around Henry Cejudo. Like, you don't think, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be close. I would think it's going to be unanimous, and I think there's going to be some 10-8 rounds.
I respect the take. I really do, because like, if O'Malley loses, that's how he's gonna lose for sure,
Yeah.
without a doubt. But I don't know, man. Like, I think
Now, I
that-
wouldn't be, yeah, like kind of like you said, like yours isn't that bad either. I wouldn't be surprised if he got knocked out. I'd be really mad because I think Marab is by far the funniest UFC fighter.
yeah.
Yes, 100%.
But
King
It's a
Apollo.
good matchup, man, and like, stylistically, you're guessing, right? Like, what's really gonna go
Yeah.
down here, man. But that's why I'm really excited about this fight as well, right? Like, I think stylistically we're gonna learn something about one of the two of them. But I do think Marab is gonna try and trade with O'Malley, and I think he does get caught.
King Apollo, what are your thoughts here?
Man.
We have a split decision right now.
Yeah, I
so-
know, and now I'm the decision maker. But to be honest, I've been going so back and forth on this fight, man. It's insane. Like, the more you think about it, and the more variables that are added to the puzzle of this whole main event of Noche UFC. Starting with Marab's a machine. I mean, he's literally in the name, right? He's a machine. He's a cardio machine. He's crazy. I was watching his UFC Embedded. His coach is talking about, once everything's done, he's still running around, jumping around, trying to do things, right? And I think that is going to be a huge factor in this, right? Like you said, went shot for 50 on Jan. He also took Henry Cejudo down, 2-time Olympic wrestling champion. Like it's not a slouch there, right? He picked him up and walked him across the ring like he was a baby boy coming fresh out the crib. So, I mean, we got to definitely put a lot of respect with a big K on Merab's wrestling and his takedowns because he earned it, right? Also, Merab hasn't lost since his first 2 fights in the UFC, right? He's been on a crazy streak. He doesn't get KO'd. He doesn't get knocked down. He's won all of his by unanimous decisions, right? So he knows how to get a win, right? And he doesn't have to. He's not one of those fighters who are like fighting to get the win in the 3rd round or the 2nd round and trying to complete because he knows he's down a round or 2. No, he wins all of the rounds. He wins the majority of the rounds, right? So Merab knows how to control a fight. And I think that's going to play a big factor in this. Now, on the opposite side, Sean O'Malley is, to me, the best striker in that division. He's the most accurate. He's one of the most powerful strikers. And on top of being one of the most powerful strikers with his hands, he also knows how to use his legs as well. And he's really good at it. I was in the UFC 299 arena and I heard Tito's head collide with his knee. Like it sounded like a gunshot in there, right? So this guy has a lot of power behind both sides. But to be honest, people say his grappling is amazing. It says I've seen takedown defense and it's good. It's great. Like it's not bad. But I haven't seen him go to the ground and somebody really just get on him like Merab will, right? Merab's going to get on you.
Yeah.
He's going to pressure you. He's going to put his body down. He's going to put his weight down. He's going to force you. If he does that for 3 rounds, that 4th and 5th round are going to be really tough for O'Malley. And I'm not going to lie, even the fight against Chito Vera towards the 4th and 5th round, Sean O'Malley was tired. Sean O'Malley left that fight broken up. He had a cast, all types of stuff, dude. Like he didn't leave. He didn't come to the club afterwards. Just put it like that. We were at the after party. He did not come. He's been to everyone in Vegas that I went to. He did not go to that because he was beat up. Okay. So with that being said, going into this, man, I'm gonna tell you this, man. I want Merab to win. I feel like it's up in the air. It's a real pick 'em here, in my opinion, just because on both sides is variables that make either one to me. Like one is a great wrestler and a decent striker, and one is a decent wrestler and an amazing striker. And then together is just what the UFC makes, right? These stylistic matchups where who's really going to win, right? I feel like cardio might become a thing in this, but I honestly gonna go Sean on this one just because I'm gonna tell you why. I want Merab to win with my heart, but if I'm betting with my money, I always do too. If I'm betting with my money, I'm going to put it on Sean because I feel like Sean is going to be able to get up in round 1 or 2 enough on striking and with significant strikes and putting hands on Merab to the point where when they do get to those later rounds, Merab's going to be playing catch up. I think Merab's going to have to fill him out first to see where he's going to be able to shoot and get those takedowns because, to be honest, shooting for a takedown on Sean O'Malley is not the smartest thing to do. Chito Vera almost lost his neck because of that, okay? We've seen this whole head fly back. So did Aljo, right? So shooting on Sean O'Malley is not the smartest thing to do because he knows how to catch you with a hand or knee or kick, whatever it is, right? So I don't think he's going to jump out the gate and try to immediately start shooting for Sean O'Malley. I think maybe the end of the 2nd round, beginning of the 3rd round, we start seeing him really going for really significant takedowns and trying to get him down there because I don't think he's going to go for a sub. So wrestling him in the later rounds when everybody's sweaty, it doesn't really matter because he's not going for a submission. I don't think in my mind, I wouldn't go for a submission on Sean O'Malley unless it's just a pure opening, right? Just like, oh, the neck's there for the taking, then take it, right? But I feel like she does have what it takes. I just feel like Sean's got the more experience on that bigger stage. Merab hasn't been on the stage this big yet. This is the big stage. It's huge. Sean O'Malley's kind of been in the spotlight since he left DWCS, right? So ever since he came off the Contender Series, he's been in the top of the spotlight. He's been with Prime. He's been with all of the top sponsors. So at the end of the day, I think I'm going to take Sean on this one with my money, but I hope Merab wins. I want to see a new champ. Not that I don't like Sean. I just want to see it because I also want to see a round 2. Maybe a little selfish of me, but hey.
Well, do you think if Merab wins that fight, do you think Sean immediately gets a title shot or like rematch? Because Umar says he's in the crowd.
Who's in the rankings? Yeah, Umar is the next up, right? Is Umar the next up on the rankings?
Yeah, he says he's going to be inside the crowd waiting for the call out.
Yeah, I feel like Umar should get it. Nurmagomedov should get it. He should definitely get the first one, and then after that, let Sean heal up, and then bring Sean in for the rematch. If Merab gets the win over Nurmagomedov, because they don't lose. They don't lose. They just don't. They don't know how to. I don't know what it is. They just don't know how to lose. It's the OV.
no matter who wins this fight, I don't think they really want to see Umar Nurmagomedov.
No, nobody wants to fight him. I think they're both kind of like, can we get a draw?
I mean,
here?
he just dominated. Yeah, he just dominated Corey Sandhagen. I mean, it was a decent fight, but like,
Nah,
it wasn't even close.
It was bad. I expected so much more from Corey Sandhagen on that one, bro. It was disappointing.
Yeah, no, I think Umar's gonna run through whoever he fights.
Is there anybody in the division that y'all think could take Umar right now? Maybe up and coming talent?
Let me think. I gotta look at the division.
Yeah, I'm about to say I was gonna pull up the rankings real quick, but I honestly don't think it's anybody that could really.
No, like no one's coming to mind, so it's like, no.
Yeah, nah, not at all. I wouldn't say one person on this. The bottom half of the 5 are all basically either on their come up or on their decline.
You know, I'd like to see Jose Aldo fight.
No, Song Yadong. I would like to see Song Yadong fight him. That's about it. Other than that, Cheeto Veras, Henry Cejudo's old. Figueroa, he's decent. Corey Sandhagen, lackluster performance. Peter Yan, man. Yeah, I would definitely, Dang, so if he gets that, he might run that division for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Pantoja should move up and like fight for double champ status if he keeps winning. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm not saying he's gonna beat Umar. I don't think it'll be close, but I mean, you might as well try.
Yeah, don't go up, Pantoja. I love Pantoja. I met him in person, and he's a dog. He doesn't care who he fights, but also he has a lot of close fights. Like he has a lot of like you don't know whose hands getting raised at the end. Steve
Urzik, I mean. It was a close fight, and then Urzik just got knocked out by whatever his name is, France.
Yeah, Kakar France. Kakar France is at home too. A lot of people like that's another home field advantage. He's Maori, like that's his land. That's the land of his ancestral people. Like it's a big difference. You know what I mean? You come over there.
You think you fight that much better? Like if you fight in your home country?
I've heard. So I always ask fighters this. Do they prefer being home field advantage or do they prefer being the coming in? I hear mixed reviews. Some people say it's a motivation for them, and then some people say it's extra pressure that they don't like.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like
the underdog.
I feel like the hate. I feel like would really motivate you. Like
one thing that I would add is that, and I think this applies in other sports as well, is when you are having a homecoming of sorts, is that there's other factors off the field, off the court, off the octagon that you're having to juggle and deal with now, because now, you might have people hitting you up for tickets. You got family members. You're trying to deal with like logistics, which look, it might not be a big deal, but it's just one extra little thing that kind of takes that little morsel of focus off of, your craft, that sometimes that could end up being the difference. So that's the one thing that I'll add is that, sometimes it's like, yes, it absolutely could be an advantage, as we've referenced, the extra motivational edge. But at the same time, sometimes, and I know because guys talk about that with the Super Bowl, where it's like the first time they ever go to the Super Bowl, they're not prepared for how much off-field things are going on and how many other people are kind of like pulling them for time, and kind of they're kind of stretched for mental capacity. So, it will certainly, we're definitely looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing how it looks. Like I've said, I think from a visual perspective that it will be one of the more unique sporting events as a whole, not just UFC fight, but just kind of one of the more unique sporting events that we've probably ever seen, from a presentation standpoint. So that will certainly be interesting to see. So before we sign off here, any maybe closing thoughts on UFC, or do we want to get into best picks for the weekend?
See, I'll go with either. Doesn't matter with me.
Yeah.
All right, so here's what we'll do. We will run through. How
did we do last week, Zach?
I think we actually did pretty well as far as.
I know we would have got the Bengals wrong.
Yeah, we definitely got that one wrong, as did the majority of people, anyone who's in any sort of eliminator pool, all kind of felt the pain on that one. But if anybody, let's see, let's go down. We'll start with Sal. Best NFL pick on the board in the Tenement app this weekend.
Look, man, I'm going back to tonight's game, and I'm shocked to see heavy. People are going heavy for Miami here.
Yeah.
Buffalo's going to win this game tonight, man.
Wow. All right, King Apollo next on the best NFL pick on the board that you see.
Scroll up.
Oh, I got
my Giants, please.
I got one. I got
If
one.
Sam's ready, yeah, Sam, fire away.
Yeah, Sam, go ahead.
Well, I got two. I'm sorry, but the Washington Commanders are going to blow out the Giants. I mean, Jaden Daniels was sensational. Because he's out. I think they're gonna beat the Giants. But I also think San Francisco is gonna beat Minnesota, so I don't know what's going on up there.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to choose, San Fran over Minnesota. Also I think the Jets are beating Tennessee too. So if you want to make that my pick, since he said that one, I definitely take the Jets over Tennessee. Like I said, AR is going to bounce back this week. Knocked off the dust, knocked the cobwebs off the good old throwing arm last week. I think he'll be good.
Wait, who do the Cowboys play?
They play New Orleans.
Saints, yeah.
Oh God, they're gonna go 2-0. I can't even stomach it.
Well,
although that is the game I could see Dallas struggling with more than maybe people would expect, because know they're right. Yeah, I mean, look, like, I am not a believer in the Saints by any stretch. They obviously beat the brakes off of the Panthers, but
well, Panthers are terrible. I mean, they're not.
Yeah, and that's a whole separate conversation. The whole Bryce Young situation, not looking good there, but I don't know. I think if New Orleans can get pressure on Dak, I could definitely see them causing some trouble there. Like Sam said, I'm probably going to have to roll with San Francisco. That's going to be my main pick. I think they go in, take care of business. It is a little scary just because it being on a short week. Generally, I like to try to fade especially a road team coming off of the Monday Night Football. That's usually like just an automatic fade spot, but I don't know. I could see San Francisco just kind of going in, taking care of business, kind of beating up on the Vikings a little bit, and that's where I'm going to go with. So be sure
scroll down a little.
Yeah.
Where's my team?
I think we removed the Bears from the app because because
you were so confident they were going to win. Okay, that makes sense. No, that makes sense. I mean, they were so. Sal was so confident that he was like, "No, we got to get it off."
The Bears are removed until further notice. That's
because you're so because I'm seeing a 17-0 season.
Nah, chill. We need.
I mean, we're in play for 17-0.
They've been relegated to the CFL. You got to switch the tab.
Yeah, bro.
All right. Well, as we roll into the weekend, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks to King Apollo, Sam for joining in, Sal, and like we said, there are a lot of storylines to be following along with. I'm sure we'll have plenty to follow up on this weekend. Be sure to tune in to our spaces that we will be co-hosting with Sam and Wolf Sports. Sam, what time do we have there for this week for the last two spaces? We have two on Friday, right?
Yep, we have one on 4 and one at 5 p.m. Eastern. Both of them. Right. Yep, and we're just going to roll into both spaces. We're going to cover gambling and parlays, probably mostly college football. And then we're going to go into like a UFC 300 or UFC 306, 303, 36. Yeah. That's what we're going to do. So
Riyadh season Vegas Mexican Heritage Night card.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
Mexican Heritage Night in Vegas.
Hey, by the way, how much is like a lot of points in Tenement app?
A lot. Okay, well, Zach has a ton. What are you sitting at, Zach? Actually,
10K, it looked like.
over 10,000. Yeah.
Yeah. I think-
Okay, so I'm like not even close. Okay,
No,
I
What?
thought
What do you have? Hold on, let me check mine.
But
I don't want to say.
It's an important thing to keep an eye on because
I'm
you know
like
from time to
400, I
time we'll
think.
have featured picks that are worth double. One
Mm.
thing that we've done before is that it'll be like live bets almost, where maybe if there's a big event, we will throw in King Apollo up there. What do we got? 234.
Not bad, not bad.
Not bad at all. So it'll be maybe some live flash picks that we do from time to time. So you got to keep an eye out for those. Those are worth double. So there's opportunities. Obviously, daily login. That's an easy way to just rack up points. Log in every day. After 5 days in a row, you can kind of claim some extra points there. So
and then you got a monthly leaderboard, which we
Yep.
set every month, soon to be weekly as well. So there's cash prizes for the winners. We got D Blaine here in the chat who won the August leaderboard. And shout out to Nono in the chat, Monza in the chat. We got Wolf53 in here. Shout out to everybody who tuned in today. So yeah, man, looking forward to seeing how this all plays out.
yeah, no. Thanks again to everyone. Like we said, get in there, get in the app, make your picks, do your daily login, rack up the points.
We have. You said we have Wolf Up 3 in here. Is someone?
Yeah.
I wonder who that is. I wonder.
I wonder.
I don't know. We will. We'll have
Whoever
to
it
check
is,
them.
shout out to Wolf53, probably Cade.
We'll have
Yeah,
to
I think
see.
so.
We'll have to wait and see if they make their way up the leaderboard or not.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like we said,
they're not beating me. I'll tell you that.
well, I don't know. Now that you know, my options are dwindling now that I can't fade the Bears on a weekly basis. So,
But no, because you'd lose so much money if you were betting against them. So you had
that's
to. You know.
true.
I
All right.
get it. Don't worry.
Well, like we said, thanks again to everyone. Tune into the spaces, give everybody a follow who's up here. Plenty of content coming from everyone up here on the board. So, yeah, we will
That's a
see.
hilarious comment. Someone said send Cade some outside time.
Yeah.
He needs it. Between gaming and sports, that man gets no sunlight.
I'll just screen cap that right now.
We
All right,
might
guys.
have to. We might have to. We'll send that. I will send that his way. So, all right. Well, thanks again, guys. We will see you next time.
Peace.
See you guys.